Right, okay guys, welcome to the Friday Waffle. I'm actually just about to head back. I've just been in a meeting, so it's heading back home now. It's Friday, obviously, being the Friday Waffle, although that's technically not always true because I don't always do the Friday Waffle on a Friday, as you know. So anyway, I hope you're all good. I'm glad it's the weekend. So yeah, I'm probably going to do this in two parts. I figured since I'm driving home now, I would film a little bit. I'm actually going out tonight, but I'm going to try and film a wee bit of the Friday Waffle when I'm back home soon. So yeah, I was talking to my mate this morning, just talking about random stuff, and I mentioned something, and it just kind of got me thinking, and I was having a laugh. Back in the day, you know, back when the sort of internet was still quite a new thing, and you know, I'm talking about the sort of like the late 90s. I mean, I don't know what age some of you guys are, but anybody that's probably 20 or less, or maybe even 30 or less, probably they would always think that everybody had broadband. They always think that, or they would imagine that the internet was always rocket fast, but that wasn't always the case. Back in, well, for me, 1997, the internet, it was a dial-up modem that you used, and you had to have it plugged into your phone socket. And actually, you know, there was no such thing, well, I don't think there was, as unlimited internet. You basically paid so much per minute. The common one was probably AOL. You used to get a disc, and you had to install the software, and even having to install the drivers was an absolute pain in the arse. But yeah, the speed that we used to get from these modems, it was, you're talking 2.5 to 3K. Yep, 2.5 to 3K per second. That's the kind of speed that you used to get downloading. So you're downloading an MP3, which would be, say, 4 meg, which would be 4,000K. One MP3 would probably take you, I don't know, about 15 minutes to download, maybe even more than that. It's just, now it's insane. I mean, I'm on a 200 meg download thing. I don't get 200 meg download speed, obviously, but I get maybe, I don't know, about 20 meg a second. So I could download almost an entire album in about 5 seconds, whereas back in 1997 it would take me about 10 15 minutes to download a single MP3. So yeah, that's just how technology has evolved. But it got me thinking about, you know, when I first got the internet, it was amazing, but I always remember getting, it was the Nintendo DS, it wasn't the DS Lite, it was the Nintendo DS, and they were selling a cartridge which, I think it was just called the Internet Browser, something like that, and basically this cartridge gave you portable internet. And that was like, that just absolutely blew my mind. I'm like, wow, I can surf the internet sitting on the toilet. It was just mental. You need to remember, this was years before mobile phones were a thing. I mean, the early mobile phones, I first got my first mobile phone, when would it be? 1999, I think it was. It was a Nokia. I think it was a 3310, and then I can't remember when I first got, I mean, I think even the Nokia 3310, could you go online with that? You might have been able to, but I think it was later on I got another phone. It was, excuse me, it was like a Sharp, or was it a Sony? I think it was a Sony phone, and you could go online with a browser, but it was very, very, very basic. You know, you could maybe check emails, and it was, I don't even know what kind of speed it was. It wasn't like, it wasn't 3G, it wasn't even G, I don't know what you would call it. It was like the most slowest speed you could ever imagine. But you know, somebody like me in 1999 or 2000, whatever, it was incredible. I could go online using a phone. It's like, wow. So anyway, yeah, I got this this DS cartridge thing, and I can't even remember how it worked. It must have connected to your. It must have connected to your. I don't know why I always repeat myself. It must have connected to your router or router. Yeah, it'd have to have. I can't think how else it would work. So yeah, you could basically surf the internet. I mean, there was no such thing. You couldn't play videos. You couldn't watch YouTube videos. You couldn't, you know, it didn't support HTML. So the browser was very basic. It was all black and white. I don't think there was any colour at all. But just being able to go online with this thing was like witchcraft. It was incredible. Then later on, when I got myself a PSP, I mean, I never actually ever bought a brand new PSP. They were just too expensive to buy. But I got this, I got a second-hand PSP, and again, being able to go online, it was a different browser experience. It was colour. I think you could play YouTube videos in it as well. It was like, wow. It was just, that was my kind of go-to portable internet for quite a few years. It was a bit fiddly because obviously the PSP didn't have a touch screen. It was purely just the buttons, you know, to navigate, and I think the little analog nub thing was like a mouse. But it was, you know, as I say, it's hard for anybody that's always known broadband, because you're going to think that is so archaic, and it was. But you know, like I says, to somebody, what age would I be? 30-year-old. To a 30-year-old me, it was just insane that I could actually go online, you know, with a portable device. But the reason I got into this conversation today was my mate sent me a link to something. It was a bargain thing. I'm not going to bore you with what it was. And it just made me think about this thing that he recommended I buy, and it was a, what was it called? It was this, I think it was just like a TV browser, and basically what it was a keyboard. Now I think it was Bluetooth. It was a Bluetooth keyboard, and it kind of had, it didn't have a mouse, but it had a kind of control, a sort of touchpad built into the keyboard, and you had to wire this thing up to your phone using a wire. And how did it connect to your TV? I think it actually plugged in. I think it plugged in using a SCART cable. Or was it a VGA cable? Something like that. So you're sitting there on your 32-inch widescreen telly. I mean, it wasn't HDMI, it wasn't HD at that point. You're sitting there on your couch with this keyboard with the cable sticking out it. And it basically allowed you to go online using your telly as a screen. And in theory, that sounded like the most amazing thing ever. It's like, wow, you know, here I am, I'm sitting in front of a 32-inch telly, surfing the internet. But this thing was just so slow. It was absolutely atrocious. It really was. What are you doing, mate? You staying in your lane, or you want to come and jump in my lane? Yeah, it was incredibly slow to the point that it was unusable. And again, it didn't support HTML. It was like a really, really basic browser. To the point that it was just shit. So I think I paid, I don't know what I paid, I maybe paid 30 quid. And it seemed like, at the time it seemed like an amazing idea, you know, this browser. I could browse internet on my TV. So 30 quid was like an absolute steal. But within about a week of using this thing, I realised that it was a pile of shite. So I tried to sell it. I put it on eBay. Because my mate had bought it for me, or he'd got me, I paid him for it obviously, but we'd got a good deal. So I think it normally costs 50 quid. So I think I put like, buy it now, 40 quid. Didn't get anything. Buy it now, 30 quid. I thought if I can get my money back, I'll be quite happy. didn't get anywhere. Do you know this? And I shit you not, I ended up putting it on offers over, or starting bid 1 pence. And do you know what? This is without a word of lie, nobody bought it. I didn't get a single bid. I didn't even get a 1 pence offer on this thing. And I ended up throwing it in the bloody bin. I mean, that's how shit it was. So, yeah. It's just, you know, that's what we did back in the 90s or back in the early 2000s, you know. I mean, smartphones just, in particular the Apple iPhone, I mean, I think the iPhone was the first, it was the first kind of smartphone that I'm aware of. And then obviously all your other, your Samsungs and your whatever it is, they all kind of jumped in the bandwagon. But, so I mean, the iPhone really absolutely revolutionised mobile internet, you know, watching. Now we take for granted, but here I am, I'm sitting in my car driving home at night making a video on my phone. You know, we just take for granted, we completely take for granted the technology that we've got. I mean, I use the phone for making videos, I can browse, you know, I can go online and buy stuff, you can do whatever, you can take photographs, it's just insane. But yeah, so was there any other device? What was the first portable device that you guys, excuse me, that you guys actually used? Like I said, the first one for me, I think, apart from the, you know, the early phones, they weren't smartphones, they were just phones. Apart from the very early phones where you could kind of, I don't think you could really go to Google as such, but you could go to, like, you know, the, I don't know what, you could go to the Nokia sports page, and you could go to various companies' pages and kind of look at headlines and that kind of stuff, but I don't think you could go to a particular website. You maybe could, but I mean, the browser itself was so basic, it didn't really do graphics, so it was virtually unusable. But yeah, for me, I think the first portable internet experience that I ever had, you know, the first sitting in the toilet browsing the internet experience I had was probably that cartridge that I bought for the DS. It was not the 3DS, it was just the DS, the DS Fat, I think it was called. And yeah, it was very limited, but it was like science fiction, you know, because apart from that, I couldn't, if I wanted to go online, I had to use my computer, and here was a thing that I could go online. The thing about that was, it didn't have its own 3G or anything, so I couldn't, you know, I couldn't leave the house, I had to be in the house, which kind of made it almost a bit pointless, because if you couldn't leave the house, then I would rather go on the computer and, you know, surf the internet. But the fact that I could sit in the toilet and check my email was pretty mental, it really was. But then I says, when I got my PSP, that upped the ante, because here was a full colour browser, you know. And then I'm sure they brought out, did they bring out a YouTube app? I can't remember. I'm sure I used to watch YouTube videos on the PSP, so that really raised the bar. And then of course, I mean, I did, in fact, I'll tell you what, the first real good portable appliance that I did get, it wasn't an iPhone, I couldn't afford an iPhone, it was, what was it called, the iTouch, and it was basically the next step up. It was an iPod, but it was called the iTouch. That sounds very inappropriate nowadays, doesn't it? Can I get an iTouch, please? I love my iTouch. But that's what it was called. It was basically it was an iPhone. It had all the functionality of an iPhone, but it wasn't a phone. So you couldn't make phone calls, you know, you couldn't text anybody. But it had this screen, it had the little, I don't know what size it was the size of the original like iPhone. In fact, I've still got an iPhone 4, I think it is, and it's amazing when you look at it how small it is. You know, you don't realise just how, you know, this thing that I've got, it's the Samsung S6 large, I don't know what the hell it's called, but you just get used to it, you know. And so when you go back to like an iPhone, the screen seems really small. But yeah, this iTouch, it was basically a music player. You could download all your iTunes stuff onto it. You could surf the internet. You could you could go and you could watch YouTube videos, and it had the browser. It used Safari, and the browser was excellent. It was really good. And I always remember it was my mate Rich who had bought one, and he was just like, this thing is the most amazing thing ever. And then he made a comment. He said that he was in the car, I think he was a passenger or something in a car, and he was going down the M6 or something, and he says as he drove past one of these big CityLink buses, suddenly this thing connected to the Wi-Fi, and he's like, this is like witchcraft, you know. It had the Wi-Fi switched on, and there was obviously an open Wi-Fi connection in the bus, and he's like, this is incredible. He says, I'm sitting on the motorway and I'm watching a YouTube video, and it's like, wow, you know, that is just incredible. So following his glowing his glowing review of it, I went out and bought myself an iTouch, and yeah, it blew my mind. You know, the quality of this thing, this little dinky slab of glass, and I could use it to surf the internet. I could go online. I mean, that became, you know, my go-to surfing experience for quite a long time. And then at that point I decided, right, I still couldn't afford an iPhone, but I'm going to get myself an iPad. And I remember it was iPad 2, and I remember queuing outside the Apple store in the Merchant City in Glasgow, and I got there about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I queued for about 4 or 5 hours, me and my mate, and I was actually buying my other mate an iPad. So I bought 2 iPad 2s, and yeah, that was a game changer. You know, here was this large screen that I could just, are you coming out, mate? On you go. I could use this to watch videos, and an important thing for me was the fact that I could read magazines. I could read PDF magazines on this thing, and that was just incredible. So yeah, I think the smartphone, the iPhone, really it brought mobile surfing into the 21st century. It made it something you could actually use, because before that, you know, using your Nokia 3310 or whatever it was you used, it was very basic. You couldn't really go to a particular website. I think you could only really surf the pages that you know, that were available. So you could go to like the Nokia Sports page or Nokia News page, anything like that. You know, and so that was very limited. Whereas, you know, when the iPhone came along, it just completely changed everything. Just knows my daughter's trying to phone me, so I'll need to get going and see what she's after. But yeah, like I said, the first portable thing that I had was my phone. Then I got the DS cartridge. I think it's just called Internet Browser, something like that. But again, it needed Wi-Fi. You couldn't take it out of the house to use it. And then I had that absolutely ludicrous TV surfing thing, whatever it was called, and I couldn't even get 1 pence for it. Nobody wanted to give me a single 1 pence for it. Thing is, when I went online later on, I went on eBay later on, and there was literally thousands of these bloody things, and none of them were selling, because basically people knew they were complete and utter shit. Funny thing is, it wouldn't surprise me if these are now, I wouldn't say they're going to be worth a lot of money, but it wouldn't surprise me if something like that would become collectible in the future. Certainly it would be the kind of thing that would go into a museum. This is what we used to use when we wanted to browse the internet back in 2001. You know, it's laughable now, but you know, that's what we had. That's what we had back then. So anyway, yeah, I'll pass you back to me in the studio. Right, okay, it's now a few hours later than that last little bit. It's actually 5 to 12 at night. I was through seeing a mate in Glasgow tonight, so yeah, I didn't expect to be quite so late. But you know what, I thought I better get this Friday waffle done. Excuse me, absolutely knackered. So it's not going to be a particularly long one. You've obviously heard the bit in the car. So I've not got a great deal to talk about. Let me have a wee look. Apologies about the naff camera, but you know what, doesn't matter. Right, I'm just looking at last week's Friday Waffle. Mr. Batman says, a fantastically enjoyable waffle, sir. Loved looking at the games room. I could get lost for hours going through all that stuff. For a possible subject, apologies if it's a bit self-indulgent. Given that I've just got my PC Engine, would you be as kind as to recommend 3 absolutely essential games that I absolutely must have, and make me aware of any peripherals I must own? Oh, bloody hell. You know what, there are so many really, really good games for the PC Engine. To try and narrow it down to 3 is quite difficult. I mean, one of my favourite games, and it's an arcade conversion, and yeah, you can play it in MAME, and it's Galaga 1988. It's almost arcade perfect. It's a fantastic game. If you like Galaga, then it's a slightly enhanced version of Galaga. It's got better graphics. The sound has been enhanced as well, but it's a great game. Another game which is fabulous is Bonk's Adventure. Now Bonk, he was kind of to this PC Engine what Super Mario was to Nintendo. You know, he was kind of the little cute character. I think he's like a baby actually, and you can kill baddies, you know, through various ways. You can headbutt them, or else you can jump up in the air and land sort of head first on top of them. It's a great game. I think there were a couple actually. What other games? Excuse me, I'm so tired. That's terrible. Really rude of me to actually make a video when I'm yawning like this. There's Bomberman games. Oh, you know what? I'm struggling to think of any offhand. Is there one Gunhead, which is a cracking shoot 'em up? But there are so many. I mean, R-Type on the PC Engine is fantastic. It's almost arcade perfect. Because of the lack of memory, they actually released R-Type on 2. It's called Hue cards, little credit cards. So that is definitely worth checking out. But best thing to do, Bat, is just Google it. Just put in the best PC Engine games. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll put a link to my. In fact, I won't put a link below. I'll put a wee link up above to the PC Engine video that I did. Have a watch at that, and that will show you some good games. Peripherals that you must own. I've got to say, I don't have any fancy peripherals at all. The only thing I do have is just, I've got 3 or 4 different gamepads, but I've got to say the gamepads are actually pretty good. I don't know if you can get an arcade stick, control stick for the PC Engine. It wouldn't surprise me, you know, most of these things do exist. But yeah, go and check out my video, Bat, and you can see what I think of some of the games. So anyway, as always, Bat, thanks very much for the questions. Just reading a few of the comments. RT says, hi Alan, great games room and astonishing cupboard rammed full of goodies. Yeah, but where is your arcade? Hope you've still got it safe, matey. It was helpful videos on that helped me build my Raspberry Pi conversion on it. Glad to see you've settled in. I don't know if you can see him. No, in fact, you know what? It's actually behind me. It's sitting behind me. It is safe and well. I think it was in my bedroom when I made the sort of games tour, but I've now got a couple of filing cabinets. I've got one filing cabinet in here, and I've got one in the cupboard, so I've got my Vectrex and the iCade sitting on top of it. So anyway, listen, thanks for the comments, RT. Neil, sorry, Nifty Gamer, Retro Gamer I should say. Great stuff, mate. Good to see you're all moved in and set up. Brilliant tour, and looks like you've got quite a few things sitting on the shelf for a rainy day. Yeah, I certainly do. I mean, I've just got an obscene amount of stuff. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got about 12 handhelds, and then I've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 of these little plug and play devices that you just plug in. It's got batteries in it. They're excellent. I was actually playing one of them. I was playing one of them last night. Excuse me, who is trying to text me at this time of night? Alright, okay, that's fine. I'll speak to her later on. Yeah, so I've got absolutely tons of stuff to play. So thanks, Neil. And Panther UK, Chris, well done, mate. Of course you know someone who has released a SID album. Me. I was after a free plug and the attempt failed. Sorry, Chris, you know what, as you probably know, mate, I've been out the scene for quite a while, and my kind of brain's a wee bit rusty. So when you were asking me about is there such a thing as a SID album, I was actually asking people. Sorry, I'd completely forgotten that you'd done that. I think you even sent me a link to it. So humble apologies, Chris. I do apologise, mate. Mr. Retro Chiz, do you have another cupboard just for cables? I don't just have a cupboard. I've got another house for cables. No, that's maybe not true, but yeah, the amount of cables that I've got are just, it's obscene. It's just mental. I don't know how I've managed to collect them all. Silicon State says, wow, fantastic collection, mate. And Bangkokian 1967. That's an excellent Xbox 360 collection, Alan. Very impressive games room, mate. Thank you very much, Ian. So listen, I don't have a hell of a lot to talk about at all. I don't have any subjects. What I'm going to say before I forget, I'm recording this on Friday. Well, it's actually now, it's now Saturday. It's now 1 minute past midnight. I'm actually now, hopefully, I will be doing a live stream tomorrow night, Saturday. What time? Probably go for 8 o'clock. That's as long as I don't go out, because as much as I like, I actually enjoy my own company. I love having my own place now. I can do exactly what I want. I'm one of these people, if somebody says to me, do you want to go out? Do you want to go for a pint? I find it hard to resist. But saying that, I'm actually, well, tomorrow, what am I doing? I saw one of my mates has recently taken up kayaking, and he was telling me he bought a kayak for 50 quid off Amazon. You know, I'm like, what? That must be shit. And he says it's not. He says it's actually really good. So I've only gone and bought myself a kayak. So I'm actually going kayaking tomorrow with one of my mates. We're going along the canal. And on Sunday I'm going whitewater rafting, which I'm kind of shitting myself a wee bit. But I'm looking forward to it as well. I've actually got my GoPro 6, which I'm going to put on my head, and I'm going to try and film it, because it is underwater. Not underwater, it's waterproof as well. So yeah, I'm planning to do a live stream tomorrow night, probably about 8 o'clock. There's not going to be any script. It's just going to be people nominating games, and I'm going to play some games, just have a bit of a laugh, you know. But like I says, if I don't do it, if I'm not on by 8 o'clock, you know, I'm not going to be there. But I'm not intending to go anywhere tomorrow, certainly tomorrow night. So as far as I'm concerned, there's going to be a live stream, just me playing games, tomorrow night about 8 o'clock. So hopefully you can join me for that. So anyway, listen, I'm getting tired. It's after midnight. You can probably tell I look tired. I will get a proper waffle done next week. Yeah, so anyway guys, listen, I hope you all have an absolute excellent weekend. I plan to do that myself. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Take care.